Well, we've heard far too many times about the dangers of drunk driving. All it takes is one bad decision to get behind the wheel and lives can be changed forever. Steve Orlowski is here with us today to share his family story and how they've made it a mission to keep raising awareness. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. First of all, tell us about your son, Curt.
Son Curt was 18 when he was killed by a drunk driver, July 3rd, 2014. Good kid, kind that most people would want to marry their daughter. Curt was very giving, very charitable. He would always do the right thing, even when it wasn't the easiest thing to do. He would reach out to kids who were struggling in school or didn't have friends, or the first day of school, he would sit with them. If they were struggling with soccer, he'd stay back after and help them with soccer. We learned so many things about Curt after that he'd done that we never knew from people at the funeral. We've even, up till 2 months ago, are still learning things that he did and how he impacted other people.
Wow. I mean, and it was during the summer, as you mentioned, July 3rd. He was working up at a camp right at University of Michigan.
Yep, cleaning dorms with his friend Dakota, who was also killed.
Right.
And the young lady who suffered a brain injury is surviving. She has a family, but a brain injury is something you keep your entire life. So the drunk driver has really affected 3 families.
Wow. And he was not just over the legal limit. In this case, it was what the law calls super drunk?
Super drunk in Michigan, that is correct.
So I think it was, 0.22 or something, and he crossed the center line and obviously now, as you said, so many families are affected by this, and this is all because of the decisions that we all make. So now, 10 years later, what have you all been doing to help raise awareness and prevent this from happening to other families?
So both families started Memorial Scholarships, providing scholarships to high school students at Tecumseh High School. Also for Dakota's family at Cornerstone, and Curt's, we do at Northwood University in Midland, Michigan. We've provided money for other educational activities. Probably close to $70,000 between the 2 families.
Wow.
With the fundraisers that we did. My wife and I have chosen to go more into education, so we want to do more speaking to educate people about the true cost of drunk driving. It's not the money, it's the lives that are affected. You can't undo change, it's not a video game. You can't just reset the button and start over. Once that decision's made, that choice, dead is dead.
It's permanent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's permanent. So you've done some education, as you mentioned. There's something that you do on a regular basis. Tell us about that.
So a couple years ago, I decided I didn't want a motorized type of educational. So I looked up and I found these adult-sized pedal cars. So we use those with drunk goggles, set up a course, either have the state police or a local police officer with us to guide people through drug and alcohol enforcement. And it's been a very good tool. So if you get too scared when you're pedaling, you can just put your feet down and stop, because the goggles vary anywhere from 0.08 to 0.35.
Wow, wow. And as you said, you could get scared. So this is real.
It's real.
That you're using to help raise that awareness. What do you, when you offer these courses and people get to use these cars and put on those goggles, what do you hear from the people once they...
They are surprised at how real it is, that they don't consider 1, 2, 3 drinks. 1 starts to 2, 2 turns to 3, and then you probably shouldn't be driving. If you plan on drinking anywhere, anytime, you should plan on a sober person to bring you home. There's no other option.
And you can make those plans ahead of time. I feel like, we're starting a new school year now, and, kids may be going out and having parties with their friends, or homecoming will be coming up. And so just a really good time, to reset, that new school year and get that message back out too, right? So
Correct.
Do you go into the schools or any?
We have.
Yeah.
I spoke a couple years ago with a friend that I met through the club that we're in, parents of children who have been killed by drunk drivers. He's been doing it for 25 years. When we speak, it's like the same day it happened. It doesn't go away. You relive it. It's not reliving it. You understand more and it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So when we speak to people the first Monday of every month, it's real. We don't feel any different the day before, the day after, because it's always in our heart. And we both chose, my wife and I both chose to forgive the driver that night because, like my wife says, we don't have room in our heart for hate, we only have room in our heart for love. So.
And that's why you're doing this education, you're raising this money for
Right.
these scholarships.
'Cause
And
we
you mentioned every Monday,
First Monday of the month, we speak for victim impact.
and that's at the courthouse there.
Yep.
Yeah. So continuing to do that work, but preventing, families from having to grieve the loss of a loved
Right.
one.
We don't want any more families to be like us.
If people want to reach out, they say, I want to bring this program, to my, I don't know, school, church, whatever. We've got the email address right there.
Please. Yes, use the email. I will get back to you as soon as I can. We are only 2 people, so we'll do
Yeah.
the best we can. If anyone has pedal cars they'd like to donate, I could use some smaller ones,
Okay.
because when we do some other events, the littler kids like to participate in the course, and it'd be easier for them to drive a smaller pedal car. So
There might be people out there who definitely want to help, so please jot down that address. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here today.